Is diaspora network. Um, well. What's being in vogue is River State and what's happening in River State, or the demolition of the complex, the Asari Dokunbor comment, the Attorney General of the state resigning. That is just happened some, I think, hours ago. And the budget submission to 5 lawmakers. So many things have been happening. So that is it for now. Okay, guys. But for me, I don't really care. Okay. What I care about is the Rivers people. Okay. They deserve better than this. Okay. Rivers State is the second highest producing economy in Nigeria, aside Lagos. So they deserve the best. So it's not all this war. And I've always said where 25 fights, the grass suffers. So that is just the irony of it all. That is just the painful thing, okay? Personally, I don't know, because the election was rigged. Wike rigged it for Fubara, and it will definitely teach a lesson to many people. Despite what you think you are as if as secure. I always say power come, power goes. So no one should think he's safe and secured. I mean, as per this go for that reason. Definitely people come back and fight against you. It's like that. Don't think you can load it over people. Uh I mean, it's just like that. So that is it. That is it, guys. So uh the news that I just heard, they said um the Attorney General of the state has resigned. How true is that? Well, I got a video here. Let's just play it a little bit. The guy he has resigned. Anyway,
News, fresh twist in Wike Fubara
let's
feud
just
as
watch.
Rivers and Attorney General suddenly resigns. The Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice in Rivers State has unexpectedly resigned from his position. As reported by Newsroom Nigeria, the announcement was made through a formal letter addressed to Governor Siminalayi Fubara, citing personal reasons as the primary motivation behind the decision. The political crisis in Rivers State continues. Insiders familiar with Adago's situation have revealed to newsmen that his resignation stems from concerns over the unconstitutional handling of a budget presentation.
Wenn Tesla einen Heizkörper hätte,
Well,
wäre es so.
uh,
Dieser
well, um, that was they said it's breaking news. Okay, I just played that to show the unending drama that's happening in River State. We are watching and we are waiting. Let's see what will happen. But my take is that the people of River State, they should learn. They should, take the people by the horn. They should stand for the right thing. They should not allow one person or group of people to hold them ransom. That is not good. Or hold them hostage, or rather. That is not good. They should stand up for their right and fight for it. Okay. I know the last election was rigged, so that is why, for me personally, I'm not really concerned about Wike and Fubara, but they are the same people. But what I'm not trying to say, the, the people of River State should not suffer because of what is happening right now. Definitely, there are going to be consequences. Okay, they should not suffer. That is just what I'm trying to say. All right. Anyway, today I will focus on those River State really all through. And we know that His Excellency Peter Obi will be having um uh, uh, you know I will call it a talk with obedience of the Nigerians, right? On Sunday. Please don't miss it, 7 p.m. Okay? Since Peter will be meeting, will talk to me. We'll be talking with the Parallax team. So on Twitter, on Facebook. So guys, don't miss it. It's on Sunday 7 p.m. Let's make a date for that. Let's hear from him. Let's see what he's going to say because we need to be encouraged. The people need to be encouraged. The vote followers, the obedience, they need to be encouraged. Yeah, they voted, but they are voted in the count. The court of law, they did. I mean, they did wonders. I call it wonders. In Nigeria, they call it Ojoro. But all the same, we don't give in, we don't give up. So we should all be expectant what's going to happen on that day. What you going to say what you going to say on that day? Okay. So guys, let me just continue a little bit um, with what I was saying before. Okay. Let me just play it again. Let me just continue with it. Um,
played a significant role in his decision to step down. I kind of
we'll leave
like,
here again, Sha, but let's just
what
listen to
these,
this is a breaking news as far as
is it Commissioner for Justice and CGN, Chief Justice of Rivers State. I kind of like what he did, and what he did speaks volume. You know, he's in the position, he knows that he can do next to nothing about the whole thing, notwithstanding the fact that it is not constitutional. The presentation of a budget wasn't constitutional. How can you present budgets to just five lawmakers and think that it's going to fly, or think that,
well, I
it
will
is
close it out here.
something
That is your head, guys.
viable? He knew personally that his hands are tied. He would
Let
not
me
be
let me leave that. Let me leave that. Okay. I just played that. He said it's breaking news that the Attorney General of the state has resigned. How true is that? We'll watch and see. Okay. We'll watch and see. Okay. Anyway, what as I was saying, Peter will be, by God's grace, will be on air to address Nigerians on Sunday. So, guys, book a date. Sunday, 7 p.m. Hopefully, we're going to be on and let's hear, what he's going to say, And that is it, okay? Let's keep our fingers crossed, okay? Keep our fingers crossed, guy. We should not be quiet. I have been saying this, I'm going to say it again. We should not be quiet. Let's continue to speak out, and speak out. That is how it is. We could because all these people, they will not, they are bent of making Nigeria to be like this. So we should not be quiet, okay? We should not be quiet. That is why I said, if you're on Facebook or on YouTube, don't be quiet. Use it to talk. Don't be scared. Nobody's going to beat you. Nobody's going to say the truth. What to move right now? It's in opposition right now. We have to critical. I mean, we want good criticism. If the country is not doing right, say it's not going anywhere. If they are doing right, say they are doing right. That's how it's supposed to be right now, okay? Because we hope to find a way to work it out. That is the truth. Nigeria must be great again. We believe in having a Nigeria that will be great again. That's if you check my order, I say making Nigeria work again. A new Nigeria is possible. We should have that in mind. A new Nigeria is possible. Okay. Yeah, I think judiciary, they are all the same. They are doing their own. Okay, well, the civil is at the right time in Rivers State. It shows that we should just be patient. Okay. Rivers State can see Wike and Fubara. Wike will disgrace. They will not be disgraced. Okay. That is the truth. All right. Even as okay, okay, now let me. I said today I will concentrate on. I will concentrate. I will concentrate on the reverse crisis. Okay. I don't know why they should just bring down a whole complex. I'm not partisan here right now. They're giving excuses that the place was leaking, so. Just to score a political point, you are bringing down your state has a big complex. This is taxpayers' money, man. Taxpayers' money, man. You know how many billions of naira that will go into it again right now for it to be reconstructed. I know that, okay, you and Wike, I mean, there is a feud, big feud, but don't waste the taxpayers' money. We are watching and laughing and smiling, because we know the Labour Party won the state. It was rigged. But we are watching and we're just watching and smiling. Let's see what they're going to do. That is the truth. We are watching. I know Amici too is watching and smiling. Is maybe from behind. He's trying to do his best too to make sure Wike is dealt with. Anyway, that is by the wayside. You guys know, I think you guys will know better too. But those in the diaspora, we are saying we should keep on the dream, okay? We should keep on talking and speaking, not giving up, not giving in, okay? So just imagine, okay, I mean, let me just, this is pathetic, really, it's pathetic, seriously, it's pathetic. Today, I'm going to play the video of our rise, of the analysis, okay, of the lawyers. And I will just play the video, but before then, I'm going to play, even Asari Dokunbor, they will hear water, according to what he say, water. Uh-huh. But now, just imagine this one now. This is just not fair. For me, it's not fair. It's not just fair. You can't do this. You cannot just destroy properties like this. It's really a big conflict because billions, man. And just to destroy it, was just good. No point. Let's assume the best thing happen to you. From there. Let's have that in mind. People are suffering there. Because what 2 square meal a day. That is what 2 square meal a day. And if you use this word, it is school fees of indigenous for 1 or 2 years. That would be something, man. That would be something, man. That's the destruction. Guys, I'm not condemning anybody, but we're here to say the truth. It is a risk. What is everything inside you are destroyed? Well, I think it's not fair. It's all right, but it's what's happening. We are smiling. Let it be careful. Let them fight to the end. Let me fight to the end. Let me fight to the end. We are watching and we are watching. So that is it. We are watching. And this was, I said, people that have supported Tinubu and all those that supported the bad, that supported I mean, that supported evil, or rather, they will hear it. They will hear Moi. They will hear Moi, and they will all come back begging, and they will all come back crying. It's just started now. What of us, the combo? He just started. He's just started his own. The cry is going to spread. This will spread, and the obedience will start smiling. We start smiling. So that is the thing. So we should not. We should just let's be patient, okay? Let's be patient. Let's just be patient, okay? That's what I would say. If it's a long war, the battle continues. Nobody should give in. Nobody should give up. That is the thing, okay? And okay, now let me play Dokunbor. I'll say Dokunbor. The cry never reach you. He go cry more. He go cry more. I don't wish him bad though. Please don't think I wish. I don't wish anybody bad, man. I will not do that. I won't do that. I won't do that. I won't do that. Okay, but I can remember during just the last month, yeah, the last 2 months when he was bringing talk from Bayelsa State to Abuja for the during the tribunal. What he was saying, what you see, what goes around comes around. When you know the truth and you think you have the power, or you have the people around you, you can do and undo. This is the result of it. This is the result of it. This is the result of it. It's bad anyway. That is it. So anyway, anyway, let me play the Asari Dokunbor where he was crying. Yeah, he was crying, man. Uh, he was crying. Yeah. And those people that have been saying the truth will prevail. Let's just have that in
Environment
mind.
provide them with with the money and the resources to carry out the activities without without blinking their eyes. You don't want to hear this naked truth. Okay, don't hear it. Don't hear it. Ijaw people are already angry that this is the worst government. This government is against Ijaw people, and you want to add fire to petrol? You want to add petrol to fire? This is the worst government. That's the feeling of the job people. If nobody is telling you, as a friend, I will tell you, the job people feel this is the worst government for them. This is a nightmare for them. And when we were voting, when we were campaigning for you, a lot of the job people called me, President, you don't know Tinubu. You know everything about Tinubu. Tinubu is your friend. No? We hope it's not going to look the other way. Oh. And I assured everybody, I say, if Tinubu fails, hold me responsible. And today, the people are asking me, are you still on that if Tinubu fails, hold me responsible? River State is the litmus test. If there is going to be any fire, it will start in River State. I cannot stop them. I, as an individual, I cannot stop them. I cannot even stand on their way because they will shove me aside. Let me tell you, nobody, if anybody is giving you assurance that he can stand in the gap.
That was Asari Dokunbor for you. That was yeah, I said this all anyway. Yeah, I said this all. Yeah, I said this all. So that's how it is. But the method today, I said I'm going to be playing is the analysis of RSTV with I think three lawyers of what and what, the implications of those lawmakers that defected from PDP to APC. I heard two are back to PDP. Let's see. It's a long fight, it's a long war. Let's see what's going to happen. We are watching, we are by the side watching and smiling. Okay. Obedience. Remember, no one thing. We will all smile at the end of the day. That is for sure. We will all smile at the end of the day. So don't let what is happening right now delay your morale. No, most people have given up. They will give it in, but we don't give in, we don't give up. Okay, that's how it is. I saw then um, the APC responded to the case of what happened, the judgment of let's say the here the rivers the as was the speakers to continue. APC was threatening that they will report the judge to the judicial council. Mainly because they own the court, they run the court system. So I'm sure that they think they can do that, but that's how it is, man. That's how it is. The battle continues. So all these people, it's their own personal. They are just after their own personal stuff. They don't care about. I've said it many times. They don't care about people. They don't care about people. They are after their own self, just after their own tummy. Okay, after that will tell me. That is how it is. Okay. Anyway, I will try to look for the video for the of the APC people complaining that the judge what he did was wrong. But if I don't see it, no problem. But today, as I said, I will play. If I see it before I think I end the program, I will play it. All right. But the case is going to be interesting. All right, going to be interesting. Going to be interesting. Going to be interesting. Please, as you watch, kindly like and share. Okay. Let me now play the video. Let me play the what I wanted to the main course for today. Okay. Let me play it since I can already see the video of that. I don't think it's right. Anyhow. Yeah. Okay. Then the the drama is on really, man. Even the other party, the other set of those people that defected, they're having their own. They're having their own cities also. It's beginning of it's a beginning of it's a beginning. It's a beginning. They're having their own stuff also, having their own meetings and the rest. Well, this is what we teach. We teach lesson to many of them. A big lesson to many of them. A big lesson to many of them. Uh, that is it. Um, what they said, the demotion of the house of the complex is they, they said it's not good. Anyway, let me leave them alone, okay? Let me play the main thing of today. I wanted to play, but it's a long one, but it's interesting. Let's listen to the analysis, okay? That is what I just want to say. Listen to the analysis. And guys, kindly like, share, make comment. Let's interact, okay? Let's interact, all right? And remember, as I said, this Sunday we're going to be having a really big event. I posted on my wall. Peter Obi will be on air to ask questions. So guys, prepare your questions, all right? Prepare your questions. What do you want to ask Peter Obi? Prepare your questions are here right now on Sunday 7 p.m. Okay? Also on Sunday 7 p.m. So that is it. All right, guys. I got to play this video now. Then let's watch it and let's see. Let's see. All right. Let's just watch. Just take some time. Let's watch this. Let's watch this one, okay? Because as you watch, can you like and share, as I've always said, and make comment too.
Governor Siminalayi Fubara has unveiled his 2024 budget to a state House of Assembly that was made up of 5 lawmakers. It is a sign that politicians out there are spinning out of control amid the fires of discord that are reportedly being stoked by the former governor and now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike. At the budget presentation, the cutback Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Edison Ehie, declared the seats of the 25 members who recently defected from the PDP to the APC vacant, were 25 or 26, whatever. Those lawmakers are said to be loyal to the former Governor Wike. The sitting was held at a temporary venue within the government house in Port Harcourt.
Motion to declare the seat of 25 defected members of the University House of Assembly vacant. This House received correspondence, notices, and publications, including letters from 25 members of the University House of Assembly of their former defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. And we have also confirmed this visually, including videos that were posted via media houses and including the social media. We are aware that it is the right members and every Nigerian regards freedom of association. Consequently, distinguished colleagues, the House, having deliberated formally on the motion before it in line with our standing order and the Constitution of 1999 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I hereby declare the seats of the following honorable members of the Rivers State House of Assembly vacant.
Warum bricht die 70€ Militärtaschenlampe in Deutschland alle Verkaufsrekorde? Denn sie ist das Taschenlampe in Deutschland alle Verkaufsrekorde. Denn sie ist das
Yeah. Well. That's how it is, okay? That's how it is. We'll continue. Let's continue with it, okay? Let's continue with it.
Uguru, who will be joining us from Port Harcourt in Rivers State. Welcome, gentlemen, to the morning show. Well, let's start with the legal issues involved. And I would like the three of you, looks like Uguru is saying something, but thank you very much for joining us. Well, I would like the three of you to take the issues from the legal perspective. A number of issues have been thrown up. The legality of the demolition of the House of Assembly premises by the governor of Rivers State, the legality or otherwise of the House of Assembly of 5 members having to sit in Government House in Port Harcourt, the legality or otherwise of the Committee of 5 declaring the seats of about 25, 26 other members vacant. The issue, which is also legal, of the Court of Justice Danagogo granting an ex parte application declaring that Edison Ehie, a factional leader, should be a proper Speaker of the House until the motion on notice is determined. And then, of course, the whole province of defection within the purview of Section 109 and also Section 68, 1, sub 1G of the 1999 Constitution. These are the key legal issues thrown up here. And I would like you guys, one after the other, to address those issues as much as you can. Let me start with you, the man in the studio with us here in Lagos, and that's Liboros Oshoma. Liboros.
Yeah, thank you, Doc. I will start by quoting copiously from that section 109 that you cited, Section 109 1G. Section 109 subsection 1 says, a member of a House of Assembly shall vacate his seat in the House if, then 1G, being a person whose election to the House of Assembly was sponsored by a political party, he becomes a member of another political party before the expiration of the period for which that House was elected, provided that his membership of the latter political party is not as a result of a division in the political party of which he was previously a member or a merger of 2 or more political parties or faction by one of which he was previously sponsored. And then if you go to subsection 2 of that section, it says, the Speaker of the House of Assembly shall give effect to subsection 1 of this section. So, however, that Speaker or a member shall first present evidence satisfactory to the House that any of the provisions of that subsection has become applicable in respect of this manner. So, in this case, the law did not state. They are then, going further, the Supreme Court had copiously, consistently interpreted. They are then, going further, the Supreme Court had copiously, consistently interpreted what crisis in a political party means. And the crisis that the Supreme Court had interpreted means crisis at the center, at the national level of the political party. Not because what politicians usually do is to orchestrate crisis at even the award level and now use that as a basis, as a yardstick to defect. So the Supreme Court had interpreted in Protectorate of Authority to say crisis in a political party must be crisis at the national level to the extent that it becomes very visible. And so it's a matter of fact here.
And then versus Ondo State House of Assembly.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those cases. And then also, subsection 2 of section 109 has given the Speaker the power to declare such seats vacant. And also, when you now begin to talk about declaration of seats vacant and the issue of quorum, so the moment seats are declared vacant, you can no longer, when you're not in discussing quorum, you can no longer be talking about the entire numbers, but the numbers of those people whose seats are valid as at the time of sitting. And it is absurd, and that's why I think this section of the Constitution, what we need to do is completely leave out that section of if there is a merger or there's a crisis. If you defect, if you want to defect from a political party, you should automatically lose your seats and go and recontest that seat if you must remain in the House or in the Senate. This issue of creating a loophole provided there is a crisis had given a lot of politicians the opportunity to use that as a yardstick to defect. So the question now would be, if the House declared the seats of these 27 lawmakers vacant before the presentation of the budget, then I would say, in all honesty, going by the provision of the Constitution, whether there are 2 members, whether there are 3 members, no matter how absurd it is, the law empowers, until the court pronounces otherwise, the law empowers the Speaker to so do. And once he's done that, the quorum now becomes the 5 members or 4 out of the 5 members that are present whose seats are valid as at that time, no matter how absurd it is. And then the second point will now be, yes, there were issues as to suspension of the current Speaker before he was elected Speaker. But the court haven't granted an order ex parte stating that he is the subsisting Speaker, because we say the law is what the court says it is. The court haven't granted that order. That is the position of the law as at today. So until that order is vacated, he remains the Speaker, and any decision he takes, provided it's in compliance with the provisions of the Constitution, it is in all force.
Okay, let me come to you, Chetam theory. What Ushuma has on is in line with the ratio in Abegunde versus Ondo State House of Assembly and also Fedeco versus Goni. But what are your own thoughts? What do you think should be the next steps forward? Because those lawmakers whose seats have been declared vacant, they can also go to court and challenge it. So what are your thoughts about what is going on? And particularly the ex parte order that was granted by Justice Danagogo that empowered the Edison faction to assume authority.
Thank you, Dr. Ruben, for having me once again. I want to also align myself with the position of my brother in the studio in Lagos, and by saying that if you look at the ex parte order from the courts in Port Harcourt by Justice Danagogo, you now discover that the ex parte order didn't just make Edison Ehie Speaker of the Rivers State Assembly, but it also went further to also give credence to even the demolition that actually occurred in Rivers State. If you look at some parts of the order and all that, because it gave credence to it with respect to the renovation of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And when you look at that Abegunde against Ondo State House of Assembly, you Honorable Justice M.D. Mohammed, JSA retired, in stating and defining what division means in that circumstances, stated that if such division makes it impracticable, emphasis on the word impracticable, for the political party to function. And in the instant situation we have, There is no division within the PDP known to us, and whatever division they must have assumed that has led them into defecting doesn't make it impracticable for the PDP to function, as stated in the Abegunde case, which we are actually looking at, which is actually a locus classical in this particular scenario. Now, when you now go back and look at the reasons for the defection, as stated by these members of the House of Assembly, you discover that the letter they transmitted to the House of Assembly is to the effect that there is an issue with respect to the national secretaryship of the party. So I think the truth of the matter, those issues are neither here nor there. The truth of the matter is that I think the Speaker of the House of Assembly is in line with his position and with his decision. Of course, the law is clear that the Speaker has the power to so declare those seats vacant, having presented necessary evidence in the circumstance, which is what the Speaker has done. So, in all that has transpired yesterday, and with the governor continuing to going down to the House of Assembly to present his budget, it's not out of the law. It's still within the purview of the law, as enshrined in our Constitution and in our laws. So, of course, it is still within the rights of these lawmakers whose seats have been declared vacant as at today to actually exercise their rights before the courts, to actually reach out to the courts and appeal or and actually bring up an issue over the declaration that has been made. But whilst they are even doing that, or even before they do that, we expect INEC to, at this point, start up the process of conducting fresh elections within Rivers State. Because these people represented various constituencies which they have now forfeited that their position or the constituencies they represent because of their current action. So we now expect that INEC should actually go ahead, conduct elections in these offices, pending whatever court decisions that may come up therefrom. But INEC's delay is actually a concern to some of us, because we expected that by now INEC should have issued out statements in this regard and in this direction, and elections should have gone ahead, or the preparations for election should have actually continued.
I get your point, but let's go to Chuksuguru, who is in Port Harcourt. Chetam Thierry is saying the burden is on INEC to quickly conduct fresh elections. But we have seen this situation before. Dave Umahi defected to another political party. Nobody invoked Section 109. Ben Ayade in Cross River State, as he then was as governor, defected to another political party. Nobody said INEC should quickly conduct another election. What are we really dealing with? Let's hear from Chuksuguru. I can come back to you. Okay. Ayo will come back to you. Okay. Rufai will come back to you. But Chuksuguru, let's hear from you quickly on this issue.
Good morning to fellow Nigerians. I think the problem we are confronted with in this season is not as a result of the inadequacy of our constitutional provisions or statutory provisions. The problem we are confronted with is orchestrated by politicians who seek public offices for personal aggrandizement, who seek public offices for reason of political profiteering. They have no regard for the feelings of the ordinary Nigerian. My learned friend Liborus Oshoma has quoted in extenso the provisions of Section 109 of the Constitution, the supreme organic law of our jurisprudence. That section is sufficiently clear to lend itself to easy comprehension. Subsection 1G is very clear that when members of the House of Assembly defect in the manner we have seen, they automatically lose their membership of the House because the provision is couched in mandatory terms. So automatically, in a place where things work well, those 27 lawmakers ought to have lost their seat as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. However, we must remember there's a proviso to the provision, which says that they may not lose their seat. Grace is provided for them if the defection or cross-carpeting is as a result of division in the political party or a merger with another political party. And that is the excuse they are giving, that there's indeed a division. But what they do not know is that the section has been subjected to strict judicial interpretation. In at least a trinity of cases, 2 have been mentioned. There's also the case of Delta State House of Assembly and DPP, where division was defined to mean complete polarization of the particular political party to the extent that the center can no longer hold. So division as defined in the section is not that there's some infinitesimal crack in the fabric of the political party. It must be such that the division is national. The political party must have split into 2 or more factions, each of the factions parading their own leadership in the organogram of the party, each of the faction parading their own chairman, each of the faction parading their own trustees of the party. That is not the situation here. Secondly, that my learned friend has alluded to, the division must be at the central level of the party, not a crack within the precincts of a state faction, of a state party. So the situation we have here is that the 27 members ought to have lost their seat without much ado. I am aware of the court order made by Honorable Justice Dana Gogo of the Rivers State High Court. I've gone through that order with the microscopic thoroughness of a scientist searching for an invisible gem. And I am not able to see where the court gave its imprimatur of authority to 4 members of the House of Assembly to sit and legitimately transact the business of the House. I am aware that by the majestic provision of the Constitution, in Section 96 of the 1999 Constitution, that the forum of the State House of Assembly must be 1/3 of all the members. How 4 or 5 members can be equated to 1/3 in a house where you have over 30 members, it's an aberration. And as far as I'm concerned, it cannot be justified. A case was between, or is between, the State House of Assembly as the first plaintiff. The second plaintiff is on Right Honorable Edison Ehie. And the case, the defendants are the former speaker and the deputy speaker, so to speak, depending on where you stand. So there's nothing restraining for the other 25 members of the House of Assembly from transacting the business of the legislature in Rivers State. That is why sometimes when we criticize judgments and judges, we do not take our time to meditatively and critically examine the tenets of the order. I've looked at it. I am not aware that the judge said that 4 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly can legitimately transact the business of the Assembly. I am aware that pursuant to Section 121 of the same Constitution, the governor is mandated to present an appropriation bill before the House of Assembly. If he has done so before 4 members or 5 members, where the Constitution has expressly provided in Section 96 that the quorum for the transaction of business is 1/3 of the members of the House of Assembly, I cannot conjecture by any stretch of imagination where anybody would justify 4 members sitting to transact business as important as the appropriation bill. Like I have said, I am not aware that the court, by its order, gave the imprimatur of the court to sit and transact business of the legislature.
All right,
some have quoted the doctrine of necessity.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Mr. Oguru. Very important points you've made there, as with Mr. Thierry and Mr. Oshoma. And I'll come back to Mr. Oshoma because he seems to not agree with some assertions that you've made earlier in your presentation. One of which he said is that it's an aberration for only 5 people, 5 lawmakers to sit to receive the appropriation bill by the governor. We have had that conversation this morning and we've asked for clarity. In fact, Dr. Abati's first question was around that. So I'd like you to respond to that because a quorum of a House of 32 members would be about 11, if it's 1/3 of that. And so I'd like you to speak to that. For Mr. Theory, I'd come back to you with regards to the APC's, chairman in the state, Mr. Becker, who is saying that he hasn't received any information about the 25 members who defected. And so maybe perhaps you'd break it down for our viewers as to what would have been the proper mode of defection. Would a declaration or an announcement or a letter suffice, or receiving from, to the APC of these members? He said that he wasn't accepting it because the spirit of the reasoning behind their defection was not sincere. It wasn't sincere. And so in his own estimation, they haven't received, at least in APC Rivers State. That's for Mr. Becker. And then for Mr. Guru, I'd like you to just speak further in terms of, we're talking about next steps. The PDP have said through their spokesperson, Mr. Debo Ologwangba, that we're going to institute legal proceedings against the defection of the 25 lawmakers. What would their case or the basis of their case be, and what would be the next steps for them in terms of INEC's response? I'll start with Mr. Oshoma on that. I'll move on to Mr. Theory, and then Mr. Oguru can wrap up in terms of the responses.
Yeah, Section 96, the quorum of a House of Assembly shall be 1/3 of all the members of the House. And then you can't read this section in isolation. Section 109 is that members of the House shall vacate their seat in the House if, being a person whose election, like I read before, and the Speaker of the House shall give effect to this section. So the question now is, like I said earlier on, if these seat had been declared vacant before the presentation of the budget, what now becomes the interpretation you would give to Section 96? What is the quorum of the House as at that time if 27 members' seats have been declared vacant? So if we say you have 4 members here and 2 have been declared, their seat have been declared vacant. So what it means is that you are no more members of the House. So that is it, because you can't take one section and read it in isolation. It must be read holistically. And there is no provision in the law. That's also a lacuna. There's no provision in the law where it says where members' seat had been declared vacant, other members shall not proceed with the business of the House until the issue is determined by the courts. There is no provision in our constitution in as far as that is concerned. The provision also allowed the members whose seat have been declared vacant to approach the court and seek for redress or proper interpretation. But for as long as the seats have been declared vacant and there is no order, a contrary order, the business of the House continues. That's why I said no matter how laughable or absurd it is, that is a lacuna, a very serious lacuna in the Constitution that we also need to take cognizance of. And then quickly, I must say this. That's why I think the business also, the position of the court is that anywhere the business of the assembly must be conducted in the place statutorily meant for that business. And so I think that was why it is the same script that Oshomole had used, that same script. Amechi used it. Obaseki used the same script. Anytime there's a crisis like this, you rush to demolish the State House of Assembly or remove the roof to make it incapable for them to conduct the business of the House in the place statutorily meant for that business. So I think the issue of demolition of the State House of Assembly has completely nothing to do with a technical test or credibility test of the Assembly, but just to deprive the members of the opportunity of sneaking into that Assembly to conduct a contrary business. Or because if the House of Assembly is sitting statutorily in the place meant for its business, it will be impossible for the governor or the PDP members to deprive other 27 lawmakers of coming into that assembly. So that, I think that was why they did that. It's a script that we all know. And then on the issue of quorum, and I said, and I must say this, except someone is showing me a contrary position in the Constitution that where members' seats are declared vacant and then the business of the assembly should not be conducted until the court rule on it, then that's where we fought the if you like, call it kangaroo presentation or the laughable presentation of budget that happened in the assembly in Port Harcourt. But our Constitution made it so. A situation where members brought, this absurd situation on a house where 27 members decide voluntarily to say, we no longer want to be members of this house. On their own, what I think what has happened here is on their own volition, they walked out on the house. And so, what is the quorum that is remaining now is 4 members. And the business must continue. And so that is why we're having this absurd situation. And I must also add this is not legal or though. This position, this scenario played out in Lagos before. I think Wike should be advised that this scenario playing out in Port Harcourt, he should handle with caution. In Lagos, there was a time the party people in Lagos during Ambode's tenure felt Ambode was pulling the rug under the feet of the party members. The party leaders didn't just initiate proceedings of impeachment against Ambode, even though they had the power and the capacity to. But they waited for his tenure to lapse. And then when he was seeking a second term, that was when they sprung that surprise of, the party had decided that nobody should get automatic ticket for a second term. So I think the issue of Rivers State should have been managed that way, or to avoid this absurdity and this laughable situation that we find ourselves.
Let me come to theory. Thanks a lot, Mr. Shoma. With regards to the response by the APC chairman in the state saying that he hadn't acknowledged the 25 lawmakers who defected because he didn't, number one, think their move was sincere, and also they hadn't followed due process. What's your take on this?
Okay. Let me state clearly, it is not the duty of the state party chairman to determine who is a member of the political party or who is not a member of the political party, because every member of every political party is a member of the party from the ward level. That is why it is only the ward who can suspend a member or remove someone as a member of the political party. So the APC chairman making such assertion that notice has not been given to you, there's a process to these things. First of all, you become a member of the party from your ward because you register at your ward level. Now, by registering at the ward level, when the ward register is transmitted to the local government, from the local government is transmitted down to the senatorial district, from the senatorial district down to the state level and to the national. That is how party registers are being transmitted. So you don't expect that people who defect from the PDP to the APC will automatically rush to you and tell you and send a letter to you as the state chairman to inform you that they have actually defected. And let us also state this. Defection from a political party to another political party, the fact that a communication in writing has been issued to the leadership of the House of Assembly is enough. And that is exactly what these members did. So the fact, if the APC chairman in the state is saying that he is not aware, it's not our problem, it's not a problem, it's not an issue. But it doesn't stop the defection process. It doesn't invalidate the defection process. He should wait until the local government is able to transmit the updated register of the party down to the state level. Then he can be properly informed in that regard. There is no law or no rule that says that anybody who is defecting has to send a letter to the state chairman informing him of their defection. So I think that assertion by him is neither here nor there and does not hold any water in this instant case. So they have properly defected by issuing out that particular notice, informing the leadership of the House of Assembly that we're no longer dealing with members of the PDP. Please do not deal with us as members of the PDP. We are now members of the APC. And they didn't just issue a letter. They brandished it, brandished the flags of their new political party. Right. And this is enough. It suffices. So the statement by the chairman, I think it doesn't hold water in this particular phase.
Thank you for clarifying. Ms. Alguru, your take on the statement from the PDP. Now, they have said that they're going to institute court proceedings against the 25 lawmakers who have defected. What's your take on that?
Well, going to court is their prerogative. They have a constitutional right to do so. But first of all, let me clear some points. Section 96 on the provision of the quorum for the transaction of the business of the House. Constitutional provisions are sacrosanct and are considered to be binding on all authorities and institutions. And in my modest knowledge of the law, I know that specific provisions override general provisions. So that provision on quorum, nothing can tame it down. It is sacrosanct. And let me tell you another reason why this matter is important. there's a strategic reason why the state of Rivers State is delineated into up to 32 constituencies, because the democratic government is representative government. So a situation where you have a 32-member House of Assembly elected from the various strata of the Rivers State society, and only 4 sitting to decide an appropriation bill, I repeat, is an aberration. You cannot say that 4 members will now take over the business of 32 members who are strategically elected for total representation of the citizens of the state. So I do not see any reason why 4 members, I repeat, ought to sit and legitimately conduct the business of the House of Assembly. I agree, those 27 members of the House, they have lost their seats by operation of the Constitution, by strict operation of the law. All right. I also agree. I also maintain that there was no sufficient division to justify their so-called defection or cross-carpeting. But there's no lacuna in the Constitution. My conclusion is that there has been a breakdown of legislative business in the Rivers State House of Assembly. And the situation we'll be confronted with is total cataclysm if this thing is not properly handled. And I know that there's no lacuna in the Constitution. The time has come for the National Assembly to wade in and take over the business of the Rivers State House of Assembly. That's my take.
Okay, I mean, Liberals, you had a rebuttal to that. I'll take your rebuttal first, then I'll ask the questions. Just quickly, your quick rebuttal.
Yes, because if you agree that 27 members have voluntarily relinquished their seat and say, we no longer want to be part of this assembly. So should the states, the solution, the last recommendation that my learned colleague made, will suffice. Let the National Assembly take over the business of legislating because the numbers are now too few. But to say that they cannot form a quorum, since section 96 talks about quorum, the quorum here is the valid member as a...
Yes, I will continue. This I'm playing this video for us to have an idea of the scenario of what's happening in Rivers State, what's going to happen, what is happening, the possible scenario as per many things. But we know Nigeria judiciary how it is. Well, guys, make your comment. What do you think? What do you think? Who will win? Fubara or Wike? The battle is going to be on. We are watching by the sideline. I don't really care who is going to win. But my own concern is Rivers people should not suffer. They should not suffer because Wike with Amici, when they fought for a long time, people died. They lost, many lives were lost, and which was not good. So this one is coming up again now. I hope there will be no lives lost. The security system, guys, make sure no partisan. Make sure the right thing is done. And let's watch. Wike, I don't really care. Fubara, I don't really care. What I care about is Rivers people because Wike and Fubara, they stood the election together. They were together. They stood the election. They did so many things. Wike is thinking that he's a mini god. You cannot be. You are not God. You are not God. You are not God. This is warning to everyone, to all politicians, thinking they are Godfather, this, that. Look, it has happened many times in all the states, different states. Godfather is God for that reason. It cannot continue to be like that. You are a minister in somewhere in Abuja. Stay there and do your job, not be overloading yourself over people. You think you should say structure. You are scared. If you have done the right thing for the Rivers people, you won't be scared, man. We won't be scared. You won't be scared. Anyway, I'll continue with the interactions of the experts, the lawyers. But it's like these guys, it seems on one side, as per well, they are saying it's their own view anyway. I know some lawyers will come to they will bring out their own acts and law and this and this one and confuse themselves. I saw those judges to also confuse themselves too. Anyway, guys, let's continue. Okay.
At that time, who are the members validly?
Okay.
Those are the members validly. 5 members are the members validly, members of the State House of Assembly as at that time.
So as we speak now, there is a lacuna, because if your position, sir, is the Constitution says that this is the way it has to be done, as regards those members, they have to leave and all of that, and only 4 members are ground, like Liberals is arguing. Now there's a lacuna. So what should be done? Should the drafters of our Constitution now think of this kind of thing when it happens, because it's not emergent, the National Assembly will not be able to step into the matter as quickly as possible, as you suggested? That's number one. The second question will be, for a matter this critical, was an ex parte the way to go? Couldn't both sides have been heard from? And this is a question across board. I want Mr. Thierry to answer that question first. Then Liberals, it comes to you. Then I'll also come to you in Port Harcourt. For a matter as critical as this, was an ex parte the way to go? Shouldn't have both sides been heard from before the judge went ahead? Mr. Thierry, you first.
Before I get to answer that particular question, let me first of all address this issue of quorum. And if you look at the sections of the Constitution, Section 109 clearly, and Section 68, sub 1, you'd also discover that the Constitution envisaged a situation where a member of the House of Assembly who decides to defect to another political party, envisaged a situation where he should ordinarily, honorably resign as member of the House of Assembly. Where he so fails to resign as member of the House of Assembly, the Speaker can now declare the seat of such person vacant. Now, saying that quorum was not constituted, was not constituted in the instant situation we are dealing with, I beg to disagree with it. Because if you look at the situation, there is a natural presumption that these people have resigned and in the eyes of the law are no longer members of the House of Assembly. So the issue of quorum is properly formed with the proper members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. So we should not even be thinking about or burdening ourselves with the issue of whether there are 31 members or 32 members of the House of Assembly and the issue of quorum at this particular point, because the 4 or 5 members of the House of Assembly forms proper quorum because they are the recognized members of the House of Assembly. So I beg to differ with that particular argument. Now, when we look at the issue of if ex parte motion is the way to go, let me say this. We can't halt governance. You can't halt governance, and we cannot actually put an arm of government in Rivers State to stay where the state is actually suffering, where there is need for the state to make progress. That is why the court, in its wisdom, decided to grant that ex parte motion, which to me it's even not out of place. And the court did not. The court did not just grant the ex parte motion. The court also gave an opportunity for the other parties to be served. And the ex parte motion is just a temporary motion. Of course, the court will vacate the motion when the motion on notice is being moved, the court finds that the position it held in the ex parte motion it's not actually the reality on ground. So it doesn't change anything. It's just for a number of days for governance to actually hold sway in the state.
Okay, Thierry. Thank you for your views. Liberal Sushoma, you disagree?
Yes, I completely disagree on them, because over time, the Supreme Court had admonished judges and courts to restrain themselves in granting ex parte orders, especially in matters of this nature. The court can abridge time for parties for the other party to put on notice, hear their submission, hear argument in respect thereof, and then make a pronouncement. This idea of granting ex parte order also rubs off on the court. It also ridicules the court. It's as if the court already has taken side even before hearing parties. This is not a matter where you say there's urgency. The urgency of the nature of the matter determines that an ex parte order should be granted as of right immediately. The nature of this matter is in the type that there's need for the party. It's an application, a interlocutory application. So all you do is, okay, let parties maintain status quo. I'll give you tomorrow or 3 days. After all, election petition matters, even at the Court of Appeal, briefs are submitted within 3 days, and parties will come, adopt briefs, and the court will give orders. Okay. So in this case, I think that parties ought to have joint issues, and then the court will robustly look at all of the pending issues and then decide one way or the other. Once the court now decides, it gives opportunity for parties to say, yes, all parties were given, fair hearing. But in this case, you just hear one party and it's okay, yes, I recognize you as speaker, go ahead and do what you need to do. That is what is now foisting on us, this absurdity that we find ourselves, where you would begin to determine quorum. What is quorum? In a situation where out of 32, 27 had voluntarily decided to relinquish their seats. And once they voluntarily relinquish their seat, the issue now becomes, what can be the quorum? Are you considering people who are not members of the House of Assembly to form quorum, or those who are members of the House of Assembly? Okay. So I think the court ought to have allowed parties exhaust argument on this before rushing to give. So
before coming to you in Port Harcourt, Liberals, I'll pose this question to you, and you can also take it in Port Harcourt. In a case where these 27 go to court and the court rules in their favor, there was actually division in their party, what happens? Hypothetical case.
Yeah, Rufai, there is what we call presumption in law. As at this case, like I said, the law is what the court says it is. As at this present situation, the fact remains that it is only 4 or 5 members of the State House of Assembly that you have. And once that's, everything that is done by those 5 members is presumed regular, is presumed correct, until there is a law or an order of court saying...
Liberals, you didn't answer my question.
That's what I'm saying.
A hypothetical scenario that this happens, and these 27 lawmakers or 25 lawmakers go to court, and the court upholds and says there was actually division.
It does not invalidate what has been done, because there is presumption of correctness, there's presumption of regularity in favor of what is being done now, except the court holds otherwise. If the court says there is... That's why I said it's a matter of fact. Okay. If the court says there is actual division, that means they are members. But it does not invalidate what had been done while they were away.
I'll come to you, sir, in Port Harcourt, Chuks Guru. Your take on these two, at first ex parte, and the other question I asked the Boros,
Yes. The situation we have in Nigeria now, regrettably, is a situation of a desperate malady always being met with desperate solution. I would pray that the courts will be more circumspect in their interventions on political issues in Nigeria. Because as a matter of fact, the court represents God Almighty to make sure that things are working well in the country. Well, I can criticize judgments, I can't criticize orders of court, but I refrain from criticizing the personality of the judice, that's the judge, because I have read the order, but I am not conversant with the facts that were put before him before he made such an order. So I can't question his discretion at this point. But having regard to what is available in the public space, if I was sitting as a judge in such a matter, I will not make an order ex parte. I would rather order that the other side be put on notice. Why? Because this might lead to a political conflagration like we are seeing now. Some persons are simply saying, oh, the 4 members of the House are backed by the decision of the court. But as far as I know, the court has not given a judgment in the matter or made any decision. The court has only given interim orders to keep matters in status quo before the consideration of the case itself. What is status quo? In the case of military governor of Lagos State and Ojukwu, the court has said that the status quo is a status quo ante bellum. But I do not know whether reading from the order now is a status quo ante bellum before the beginning of hostilities, or the status quo that was created as a result of the trouble and the schism in the House of Assembly. I have said, and I repeat again, if I was sitting, I would consider this matter too critical and too worthy to make an interim order on an ex parte basis. I would have thought that the proper thing to do is to put the other side on notice. But like I have said, I do not have the facts that were presented to the honorable judge before he made his orders. So to that extent, but it is an order of court. It remains legitimate. It remains sacrosanct until it is set aside. And all parties are bound to obey it except they go on appeal.
Okay, so like I asked, in a case where these lawmakers go to court and the court rules in their favor, then what happens?
If the court rules in their favor, the implication, the inescapable implication of that is that their seats were never declared vacant. That is a legal position. There's nothing anybody can do about it. And I know that both parties are going to explore the courts to get orders and decisions. So we await the decision of the courts.
So what happens to actions taken now?
The school of thought that
what happens to actions taken now as we speak?
When Omehia's position as the governor of Rivers State was nullified by the Supreme Court, what happened to the actions he had taken? There remained actions taken. There remain actions taken.
Okay, very, very quickly.
Wow. That has been, it's been a roller coaster of questions and answers. Okay. I mean, I just wanted us to have a view. I mean, iron this out, see what possible scenarios, okay, of Nigerian system really, actually the judiciary cannot really predict them seriously. In a similar case, different states, different judges will give different meanings to it. So let's continue. Let's go to watch it. Let's continue to watch it.
Now, there have been arguments about defection in Nigerian politics. There have been cases in court questioning the need to amend, or before the National Assembly, to amend the relevant sections of the law. 109, which we have quoted, 68, both of the 1999 Constitution. And the conundrum, why is it that a governor, 23 of them in the last 24 years or so, have defected from one political party to the other? No one was asked to vacate his position. In Ogboji and others versus Dave Umahi and others, the lead judgment by Justice Olubunmi Oyewole was quoting, I guess, Section 308, that governors have immunity. But in the case of lawmakers, the whole argument has been that, oh, if you're a lawmaker, you port from one place to the other, then you must lose your seat. How do we resolve this conundrum? One set of law for governors, another set of laws for lawmakers. Very quickly, briefly, as we're trying to round up.
Yeah, quickly, because the Constitution is silent on the issue of lawmakers' defection. Where the court would have been given the opportunity to interpret this section before the Umahi's case was, if you remember, the 7 governors from PDP that defected into APC. But at the end of the day, that case was warehoused and the matter was never decided until after their exit from office in 2015. But as for lawmakers, the law is explicit. The provisions are very clear that once a lawmaker declares, once a lawmaker, cross carpet, he automatically loses his seat. But for the governor, there is no such provision in the law, in the Constitution. So that's why there is a lacuna. But I think the law itself should be completely amended, that once you cross carpet, this window of if there is a crisis or no crisis, once you are leaving the political party, since the court also had admitted that the seat belongs to the political party, and the law should be amended to accommodate the fact that once you leave the political party, that seat, you should relinquish the seat automatically. If you must come back to that seat, you go to that other political party you are moving to and contest election there. That's the way it's obtainable.
Let's go to Thierry. One of the issues in Ogboji and others versus Umahi and others was Section 40. So why should governors have the right of freedom of assembly, and the same will not be made available to legislators? Does that make a case for taking a look at the circumstances of defection as provided for in our laws across board?
Now, Now, unfortunately, that boils down to our constitution and how our constitution is presently being couched. And that's why some of us have also advocated that the constitution should be amended so that some of these lacuna that has been created by the constitution can actually be taken care of and addressed as much as possible. So we won't be having all these issues we're having in the country with respect to the law. And just like my learned friend had also said, it is quite also important that we have a law envisaging a situation where the moment you leave your political party, whether as governor or not, whether you have immunity or not, you should vacate off your seat. And you should vacate your seat and a fresh election is conducted in that particular office. Now, this would actually check on politicians cross-carpeting and would actually check on these loss of integrity we have found in our politics, where people just wake up in the morning, decide to leave their political party in which they have been actually elected from. Now, but the court has also stated clearly, as my brother also alluded, that votes are casted against political parties. So it is the party that is voted for, not necessarily the individual. So naturally, even if the court has actually taken this particular step, we need not even look for any amendment to our laws, because this is the position of the law, as it is, that the vote are casted for members. So the moment you are able, you move from a political party to another political party, you automatically lose your seat completely, because the mandate you were given was given to your political party and not necessarily to you as an individual. In this particular situation. So it's an issue.
Thank you, Thierry. Thank you. Let's quickly have the input from Chuks Uguru in Port Harcourt. Chuks, over to you.
Well, the problem here is the expresso unis rule of interpretation. That is to say, the express mention of one thing is an exclusion of those things not mentioned. We do not have the equivalent of Section 109, subsection 1G, as it relates to governors and other holders of political offices, except for the members of the National Assembly and the members of state houses of assembly. The business of the court is to interpret the law the way it is. Unfortunately, we seem not to pay due regard to the provision of Section 221 of the Constitution, which states that it is a political party that presents candidates for elective offices. If that is the position, I believe, in my modest reasoning, that any elected officer who vacates or defects from his political party ought to lose his seat. Unfortunately, the way the law is today is that such applies to only members of the National Assembly and the members of the state houses of assembly. Until the Constitution is amended, there's not much the courts will do.
Well, thank you very much, Chuks Uguru, joining us from Port Harcourt. Thank you, Thierry, joining us from Abuja, and Liberos Oshoma, who is with us.
Yes, guys, I played that. That was a long interview, a long interaction from Arise TV. Anyway, I've been on for quite a while. Please, as you watch, kindly like, share. It's important. Take our country back. This is what has been happening in Rivers State. We are watching. I mean, personally for me, I don't really care for Wike or Fubara, but they're the same people, man. But this to the election, right? So what I care about, as I said before, is the Rivers people. We want good governance. We want people that can lead that state. That state is blessed. It's blessed. We are blessed with human resources, with natural resources, and with that state to greater glory. That's what we are praying for. Okay, guys. So can you like and share? As I said, a quick reminder again. I said before, Peter Obi will be on air it will be on air. It will be live, man. It will be live on Twitter, on many platforms on Sunday, 7 p.m. Please make a date with that, okay? Sunday, make a date with that. We'll be on. Let's watch. If you have your questions, start playing it out. It's a time. I like what I like with him that he interact with people. If you have a question, he's not shy from it. Ask question. He's a man of the people, man. Well, this how we see it. That these people they talk, they think they can read the election, but it's where. Okay, it's where. don't just expect us to just remove them like that. That 1 year. I mean, it will be long. These people, they've been there for a long time. They own the machinery, they own the police, they own security, they have the money. What the obedience they did well, they did their part. Okay, so, but we cannot stop. We cannot stop. This is just a weekly call. Okay, a weekly call. So those in diaspora, please don't give not give up. Those in Nigeria, please. I know it's tough a bit, but don't not give up. We will make Nigeria. We can take it back. We will take it back. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. We'll take it back. We'll take it back. Nigeria belongs to all of us, irrespective of where you're from, your tribe, religion, anything at all. Nigeria belongs to all of us. Okay, as I started with I started with Dokunbor, all those stuff. Okay, okay. On to call it a day. To call it a day. I'll play the video of His Excellency Peter Obi. I'll just play the video. I'll play the video of His Excellency Peter Obi. All right, just 2 minutes or so. 2 minutes or so. Okay. Um, I mean, we anyhow it is, we should not give up. Okay, give up. That is what I'm going to say. And that is it, guys. All right. So, let's quickly just watch it. Let's quickly watch. It's about 2 minutes. It's a 2 minutes video. Okay, and let's just play it. Then after that, I'll come back and say bye bye.
So you were able to generate over 1,000 megawatts of electricity in the 60s. Almost 60 years after, you cannot generate 4,000. It's unacceptable. I just went to Egypt. They're doing 58,000. 100 million people. And they only added 30,000 in the last 5 years. All the people I met in the power plants and everything were engineers, Egyptians, trained in universities in Egypt. When I went to the ministries, they are the same thing. They were all educated in Egypt. This is not an African country. So you need to invest in your people in education. I've visited all the states of Nigeria. There's no production because you have not invested in the people. Niger State, 76.3 square kilometers of land. They can't feed themselves. They can't feed Nigeria. Netherlands is 33,000 square meters. 33,000 square kilometers. They exported last year 120 billion worth of agriculture. A state twice their size, 2.5 times their size, and in winter cannot feed themselves. You have not invested in a human being. You need to do that investment. Taraba, 54.6 thousand square kilometers of land with Mambila Plaza, where you can do coffee, tea, and flour. Kenya exported 600 million worth of flour. Those who pick flour in Kenya are paid $100. Ethiopia exported coffee, $1.1 billion. You can grow it there. Sierra Leone, with all their problems, 1.4 billion coffee, you can grow it there. Taraba cannot feed itself. They are waiting to share money from oil. What a country. You need to move this country.
What a country. What a country. That's the good question. What a country. That's how it what a country. But Nigeria will rise again, okay? We'll make Nigeria work again. That is the truth. We'll make it work again. Nothing will stop us. Nothing on earth can stop us. We'll make it work again. Okay. What is painful, seeing what is happening is very, very painful. Seriously, I mean, it's annoying. It's just annoying. But what do we do for now? What do we do for now? What will make it happen? Okay. All right, guys. This is where I will call it a day for today. Please, we have concluded today. Please, kindly like, share. As I said before, on Sundays the D-Day, 7 p.m. Okay. If you are doubting it, let me just show you. Let me show you how it is. Okay. Let me show you how it is. So, sorry, it's not too big. No, maybe you will show yourself to see it very well. Okay, but this we're having the space, which is excellency it will be 17th of December, 7 p.m. Okay, it's being hosted by Parallel Facts. Okay, so that is it. That is it, guys. All right. All right. I would say, guys, thank you. Thank you for watching. This Diaspora Network. We tell you guys what is happening, how it is. We don't hide anything. We don't hide anything. We want Nigeria to work again. That is our own. Nigeria working again. And I believe you know that Nigeria can work again too. So let's put the hope on. So I will make the broadcast of this thing. Please watch it and share. Like, make comment. It's good to make comment. You cannot just watch and not make comment. You cannot just watch, don't make comment or like, let's inspire other people. Let's inspire other people, let's give them hope, let's make, let them know that the fight we fought last year for obedience, for the election and the rest, is not a waste. It cannot be a waste. It can never be a waste. It is just the beginning. That is it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. Ciao.